Dude, I love taking over the touch tunes. I pay for it to be the next song every time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just fucking own it.
If you have any sort of brain, you would do that.
Yeah.
What did I play last night?
And now picking and a heating magnet.
Because every time we touch, we get this feeling. One of those.
Yeah, kick it on back and back and go on. Yeah, the boys are about to go on.
What's happening?
All the hope.
I like to play show tunes if I'm outside the bar.
It's time for
Just load like 4 in a row.
Radio.
The soundtrack to Chicago. Every guy wants to last longer in bed. Oh,
hell yeah, brother.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
Every girl
like
wants
to.
their guy to last longer in bed.
It depends.
I mean,
Did
that's
he
the
miss
goal.
Here We Go?
Yeah.
I was going to get to it after the read.
God damn it.
I was going to switch it up.
People would have freaked.
I like to switch up.
Jesus Christ. All right, here we go. Welcome to
Pays the
Heartland
bills.
Radio 2.0. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Roman Swipes. It's a swipe for your schlong. Keeps it harder longer. Lasts longer in bed. That's the goal. Every guy has this. The goal every girl has for her guy. Roman Swipes are convenient over-the-counter swipes, clinically proven to help you last longer, and the packaging is small enough to fit in your back pocket. Back in the day, in my day, dick swipes were so big we had to wear it like a parachute on your back and carry it around. Maybe we just had bigger dicks back then. I don't know. Either one.
Probably.
Sounds too good to be
Doubtful.
true, right? Well, swipes are the real deal. Studies have shown up to a 340% increase in stamina after 3 months of regular use.
Wow.
What makes these swipes better than all those creams and foams out there?
Can I guess?
Yes.
Is it because they don't transfer from you to your partner?
Yes. The desensitizing effect will not transfer to your partner or numb you, and they're super easy
been
to use.
swiping it up.
Just take the swipes out of the packet, wipe it on your most sensitive area, which is your penis, and wait a few minutes. That's it. It's the quick way to take your time. Keep Roman Swipes in your back pocket for longer, better sex, and get yours fast with free 2-day shipping by visiting GetRoman.com/USA. All right.
Jen A.
Weekend's coming up. We have a very good episode today. We got a cool interview. Turned out
Very
we
cool.
interviewed this guy earlier in the week. He's awesome.
Weapon.
He's a fucking
Weapon.
Yeah.
Absolute
He's
weapon.
lethal. He's lethal.
Top 5 interview for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want this guy on my
top one.
team when the apocalypse comes.
For sure.
He's one of those guys.
Space age technology. He's got it.
He's
Yeah.
got it.
It'll last forever. Big weekend plans for you guys coming up? What you got going on?
Football.
Football,
Football, baby. I think we'll all be watching football around the house.
Slinging some brews.
Are you gonna
you
cuddle?
said it.
You gonna cuddle up with your cats, Bailey? And watch football all weekend?
Oh, wow.
I don't think this is necessary slander.
Wow.
I'm just
I mean,
asking. They're very
attacking
cute
you.
cats. I get to see you laying around, cuddle up with them like with a ball of yarn, whatever you do with cats.
I actually might need to find a part-time job because I just had to buy them a $600 litter box.
What the fuck?
It
What
better
the
clean
fuck?
up for them.
It cleans itself. It dumps itself and everything.
What do you mean you had to?
600.
You shit
It was a full-on assault.
Bill, what
to
is
me.
wrong with
Put
you?
some newspaper down.
Dump those things outside.
That's that whip cracking down on you. The way it ever occurred to you, I should look for a $600 litter box.
Well, considering my girlfriend
Someone
was,
pointed it out to you and said, listen, this is going to be not yours anymore if you, and I'm gesturing toward her vagina,
Oh, I think you meant
if
his
you
penis.
don't buy this $600.
the decision was actually mine because my girlfriend was out of town for 5
Oh,
days.
suck on that, Todd.
And I actually
Then
had
you have a vagina.
no, I had to clean a litter
Hey,
box
hey,
and realized
hey.
I'd much rather pay money than have to clean out a fucking litter box.
Oh, so it's a litter box that cleans itself?
Yeah, it dumps
Where
itself.
were
and
you
everything.
at?
So wait, you cleaned it one time, and then you made it. I love this. I
Yeah.
respect it.
So how does it clean itself? The little legs pop up? It's like a robot.
So
it
it
crawls
looks like-
outside and dumps itself.
It
and
looks
comes
like a
back
little
in?
R2D2 thing. It's like that's the shape of it, and then there's a ball that they get into, and they shit, and then it turns itself like 15 seconds after they get out and dumps it into this tray, and then you just take this tray out, and it's already like wrapped up in a little bag. Just put the bag in
They
the
get,
bag.
into a, they get into a pod? Like
Yeah.
You just have like a massive rig in your living room that's fucking operating this thing.
like Men in Black taking a test?
Exactly.
How
His
many
couch
cats do you
is
have?
shoved
3.
over against the wall all the way.
3's too many.
How do they know how to go in the
Three's
fucking
a
ball
lot.
thing.
You just put them in there a couple times. They see that it's litter and like, this is where I poop now. Or they choose not to, which they've been doing a lot around my house.
Yeah, 2 tops. Otherwise, the smell is unbearable. So I understand why you did
Are
this.
your cats like eating cheeseburgers and dropping bombs when you're not there? Like,
they-
how is it so bad?
Wings and Bud Lights.
Yeah.
There's one that he's 4 pounds maybe, small, like you could grab him in the palm of your hand, and he drops fucking cow patties.
Really?
It's
He's got something wrong with
semi-solid.
him.
It's terrible.
He's got something wrong with it.
You could have
And
probably
I could have
made-
paid for a vet bill, but instead I paid $600 for a fucking
Probably could have made
robot.
$600 if you just sold them.
That's true.
A cat's all asshole. Its asshole's like the size of a $50 walking around. Shit's like getting caught up in it all the
How
time.
much does your cat weigh? 4 pounds, but his asshole's like 3. I swear to God.
It's like you.
Dropping.
No, my nuts are like 50 pounds, dude. Hey, you gotta just struck me, whatever the fuck it is. Why aren't there litters for dogs?
Because they won't use it because dogs don't give a fuck. They're like, I'm like,
Nah, they'd make a mess. Like
Feel
I don't
like
know
they
about
could
you,
figure
but
that out.
my dog after it shits or pisses does this thing where it flings grass up behind it.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Marking the
So
territory, my friend.
So yeah, I mean, you would just want litter would just be
Yeah.
everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, get a better idea, pal.
No, I actually don't have any of those. I only have bad ones.
That's not completely useless though.
Not completely useless. Yeah, you got to cross out the bad ones to get to the good ones.
The best you can do is get them to either whine or go to the door when they gotta go outside.
Whine,
That's
yeah,
as
yeah.
good as it gets.
Yeah.
And then if you're like my dogs, they get a certain age, they're like, nah, I'll just shit whenever I want.
I'll just throw up in the laundry room. Fuck it.
I'm old. Walk around that for a while. But go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No.
I'm just-
go ahead.
No.
Mine was topic changing, and I
Go
thought
ahead.
you were done.
Well, I was just going to talk more about some great Dane
Go
shit,
ahead.
so I don't mind changing it at all. I just say he's got this consistency issue right now, and it's
Diggs,
very
go
much.
Tell the people about
It's
your
just-
dog's shit consistency.
It's
issue.
Wendy's Frosty.
Come on,
it's a
man.
Wendy's Frosty all the time.
Tough. You can't pick that up.
Don't
I
need
know.
it.
You can't.
Not gonna have Wendy's for dinner now.
I take a whole roll of paper towels, throw it on
all
there,
I can afford.
scoop it up with a shovel. Go ahead, change your side.
What is happening off the top of my head is movie studios hired this AI
Oh,
thing
yeah.
to
geez.
determine, to like read the scripts and determine
Yeah.
what actors and actresses to use that'll be most beneficial to
What
the
sells the
studio.
most.
Yeah. I don't like that.
I don't like that at all.
It's an art. It's not a science. It's
Death
an
of
art.
an industry.
I mean,
The Rock's gonna have 37 movies next year.
And what happened with breakout roles? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
really know that person, or you never thought they'd be right for that role. Like Bruce Willis for Die Hard, that would have never came to be if this AI testing. was
Christian
in
Bale
place.
would have never been Batman. I'll
No.
tell you that
Boom.
much. Never.
That would have been The Rock.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe this will finally be the end of Will Smith, though.
I don't think so.
No,
When
'cause
people
they'll-
start looking at the hard numbers and realize he's not doing as well as everyone thinks.
Maybe.
or he'll be in every movie.
If I had to bet, I'd bet the AI's picking Will Smith for most roles.
No, not after they see iRobot.
Oh, it's gonna try and kill him.
Yeah,
After
exactly.
iRobot, there's no way Will Smith
Yeah,
is in
that's
any
true.
more movies.
Dude, though, I gotta admit, those little Instagram promos, those little clips for Bad Boys 3. Was it 3? It's coming out?
Yeah.
Bad Boys for Life.
Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah.
Not good.
No.
Knock
Wow,
off
from
your little
you?
pop dancey little cheap ass graphics in the background.
This is interesting from you.
Todd,
All it
you-
takes is a fast car and an
I-
explosion, and you're in.
Usually I would be all about this. It's got my boys in it, but don't green screen me a fucking little dance video and is it a
love
teaser
it.
for your movie.
I love it.
So maybe it's gonna suck. Maybe this is the end of Will Smith. Maybe I have to eat shit after this movie.
And they have the
and
exact
admit.
same lines in the trailer that they had in all the other movies.
No,
You
no
know,
way.
It's Bad Boys meets 21 Jump Street. They got all these like young,
That's pretty
white, like
good, though.
Vanessa Hudgens is in
Really?
it. Like, yeah.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, she's looking tasty in the trailer as
Oh.
well. But
Double
no,
hot.
but it's. I mean, it'll fucking stink. It's
Dump
gonna
'em out.
stink. You know, it might be worth to go see it. But yeah, it's.
It'll make money because nostalgia is the biggest drug our generation has.
Oh, it's a good
Hooked on
drug.
it.
It is a good
I
drug.
love that nostalgia.
But it'll
Shoot it
stink.
right in my veins.
It is good.
Member berries.
Member Bears. That's right.
Remember?
I remember.
Kudos to Eddie Murphy. He's like, I'm going to go out and do original shit in my second phase of my career.
Yeah,
And
what-
then you got Martin. He's just going to go in there and shit all over a fucking third generation
Say, what was that, Martin?
turd.
Yeah, the intro from the old Martin sitcom.
Yeah.
I just found out this week that Brad Pitt's sober.
Yeah,
that was
dude.
kind of
Bradley
disappointing.
Cooper got him. So
Yeah, that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, Bradley
Bradley
Cooper.
Cooper,
Bradley Cooper had a real issue, right? That's why he was so good at that role.
Correct.
I had no idea. No.
Yeah,
I
he
didn't
was
know.
like a hardcore alcoholic.
there and back.
I think most of them are, to be honest with you.
I mean, they have
Wouldn't
nothing
you
else
be?
to do.
I mean, you young, you get rich, and then
Any party.
I'm super disappointed in Brad.
Why?
I don't know. I like my
That he
stars.
got his life together?
I like my stars drunk.
he's like a father of 8.
I've never been a fan of.
Never been of kids either.
it is
Cut him
hard to
some
believe when you
slack.
think about it. I forget that he has 8 fucking kids from 8 like different countries. You know what I mean?
Yesterday
Like,
was Thursday, and hadn't drank since Saturday. And like I was like, how do people not drink ever all the time? Like
Like,
that is a wild.
People get
situation.
shitty at Ben Affleck. Let him be hammered all the time. Who gives a fuck? He makes great movies. I don't give a shit.
You know what? You're
Oh,
right.
does he?
I should let Brad do what he wants.
The Town.
Oh, yeah, I
makes
believe me.
it
I've
low.
seen it like 15 times on
Todd's
HBO.
all in on the whole Affleck family at this point.
Well, they're the greatest thing ever.
Well, or
happened.
lack or lack thereof, because his alcoholism was kind of what ruined the entire family.
Geely. I mean,
Geely was a really good movie.
I mean, you can't blame him for that.
For what, Geely?
Yeah, he got
Is
his
that
love
J-Lo's
drunk.
fault?
Yeah, exactly.
he got talked into that.
What was that?
Same way he got talked into that $600 litter box. That's what happened to Ben Affleck. That's why he did Geely.
I made the decision.
Listen, your body's nutritional needs change all the time due to a variety of factors like stress, travel, sleep patterns, exercise, a crappy diet, maybe even a car crash.
Oh,
Even with a balanced, healthy diet, it can be tough to cover your nutritional bases. That's why top performers, athletes, executives, and entrepreneurs trust Athletic Greens.
yeah.
Athletic Greens Ultimate Daily is the obsessively researched all-in-one nutritional support containing 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food ingredients.
Yep.
75 vitamins?
Just one scoop contains essential vitamins, minerals, prebiotics, probiotics, digestive enzymes, adaptogens, and more, providing you with a convenient and comprehensive nutritional insurance that supports your gut health, energy, immunity, and more.
Yep.
Need all that.
All of it.
Bill, I think your cat needs this. The travel pack makes it especially easy to keep up your healthy routine, whether you're at home, in the office, or on the road. There's no need to carry on a backpack full of pill bottles like an idiot. Simply put, Athletic Greens can help you feel great each and every day, no matter what life throws your way.
That's awesome.
There's no harmful chemicals, artificial colors, sweeteners, no added sugar, no GMOs, gluten, and dairy-free.
Oh.
No herbicides, no pesticides, you name it.
Good thing.
And it's vegan, paleo, and keto friendly.
Sweet.
If it's time to focus on your health and feel your best, Athletic Greens takes the guesswork out of everyday good health and does it without compromising on taste or quality. Why wouldn't you try it?
Why would you try it?
Why wouldn't you try it?
Yep.
Jump over to athleticgreens.com/heartland and claim our special offer today. 20 free travel packs valued at $79. Yes, that's USD.
What?
With your first purchase. That's athleticgreens.com/heartland. Start your day right and good things follow.
Steal.
All right, so big games. We're all going to football out all weekend. It's going to be awesome. I think the Chiefs are going to win it all.
You think?
I really do. When I was in Kansas
Could
City
be. No one's
last
really
weekend,
talking about them.
I hope not.
Oh, so now you're a homer for Kansas City?
That place is it's different. It's a different place.
Kansas
man.
City's
yeah?
sweet.
I mean, I'm not kidding. Every single person on the street, head to toe, in Chiefs.
Oh,
gear.
yeah.
And they were on a bye week, first round of playoffs.
Oh yeah, you got lucky.
It's like Pittsburgh like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even like on the bye, blah, blah,
Yeah, it's called a football town, Todd.
I guess. Maybe I just don't
You wouldn't know
recognize
because
it.
Indianapolis will never be a football team.
No, not at all. Not at all.
That's all right.
Yeah, but
I mean, that's what Kansas City is. It's fucking barbecue and the Chiefs and the Royals, pretty much.
Is there
Yeah.
anything to do there?
Dude,
Yeah,
the
it's
power
really
and
cool.
light district is incredible.
yeah.
Like,
IPL?
all these bars down there. It's basically.
And then there's
Bazookas, nice
there's
strip
another
club
area
down there.
too that's kind of
Oh, bazookas?
Oh, yeah.
Is
They
Bazooka's
fucking
the best?
double
What a
name
name.
of
It
all
was an
time.
incredible strip club, yeah.
they drove us through
Bazookas,
3 or 4
bombs.
different bar districts, and each one very different. They had very different look and feel. Yeah, that's a cool fucking city, dude. And the barbecue is insane.
Did you go to Bazookas?
I went to Kansas City Joe's.
That's
They
Could
must
still
get
be
the,
a strip club.
They
I did
must
not
have
go
the
to
best
bazookas.
strippers.
I just went for barbecue.
if I open a strip
Not
club, it's gonna
titties.
be calling it bombs.
I don't
Or
know.
sweater meats.
That's not bad. Sweater puppies.
Sweater meats.
To be called dump.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You would obviously make it dump them.
Yeah, for sure.
DTOs, dude.
All right. Speaking of dumping them out, let's dump it all out in this interview. This guy's a true fucking legend. Joining us on the phone, a shark attack survivor, a motivational speaker, military diver, and author of No Time for Fear, How a Shark Attack Survivor Beat the Odds. Joining us on behalf of Indigo Industries Scuba Equipment. And listen, when I say a military diver, I mean a member of the Royal Australian Army paratroopers in his past, as well as the Royal Australian Navy as a clearance diver. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul de Gelder.
Hey,
So
lovely introduction. Thank you.
Yes, well, I think you deserve it. Obviously, you're a national hero. First of all, let me get this out of the way. Thoughts and prayers are out to everyone in Australia right now. I'm sure you have friends and family there, so our thoughts and prayers are with them. That's a horrible, horrible thing. Are you in touch with people back home right now, I assume?
Yeah, absolutely. Mum's in the thick of it down on the south coast, about 8 hours south of Sydney. She's in a safe little pocket, though. She says she keeps affirming to us because we're all telling her to get the hell out of there. But I've got mates and friends that have lost everything, all the wildlife that's gone. And obviously, I'm a big animal advocate and conservationist. So it's really heartbreaking. But, the way that the world has come together to support my home and my country and the people and the animals there is just mind-blowing. And I don't think anyone can understand how grateful we are as a nation for that support.
Well, that's good news to hear, and it's great news to hear that everybody physically is okay, and it's just a horrible, horrible thing. Take care of the planet, people. That's what we're saying. Take care of the planet.
Absolutely.
When I describe your military career, basically for us, it seems to me that you basically were the Australian version of a Navy SEAL for us. Is that accurate?
It's similar, but it's not exactly the same. There
Okay.
are elements that we do the same job. There's crossovers, but the Navy SEALs do a lot more soldiering than we do. The clearance divers aren't generally getting chopped into war zones to go and assassinate terrorists and things like that. So we do attack swimming and mine clearance and reconnaissance swimming and even reconnaissance on land, underwater explosive ordnance disposal, as well as land-based bomb disposal as well. So there is a lot of crossovers, but it's not exactly the same.
Okay, so you are what the SEALs were before they became the SEALs. Underwater demolition divers is what they were.
Yeah, very
lot more
similar.
like
Yeah,
that. Okay.
Closer to the traditional frogman,
Yes, absolutely. Well,
but with way better tools. Technology has come a long way.
Like what?
Just the diving equipment itself.
Yeah.
The pure oxygen rebreathers, the mixed gas, non-magnetic rebreathers that we'd use to dive on mines underwater so that the magnetically charged mines won't activate when they detect us. All of the equipment, diamond-tipped massive chainsaws that can cut through concrete, the Broco underwater cutting guns that can burn through basically anything on Earth underwater. All of the safety equipment for the parachuting and the fast roping out of helicopters, and it's a big boys toy club. We get to play with millions of dollars worth of cool tech and then blow stuff up. It's a win-win.
Pretty cool.
That's incredible. So all right. So I was a diver for the state police here in Indiana back in the day. This was a long time ago.
Awesome.
Technology's changed. Our equipment was so crude. I can't imagine what it's like for divers now, especially elite divers like the team you were on. Like, how long can you be underwater at any given time before you would have to come up for air?
Oh, many hours.
Wow.
Many hours, because that's the beauty of the rebreather, because it recirculates your own air from your body. it has a carbon dioxide absorbent inside it that absorbs that CO2, and then you basically just keep rebreathing. And the little tanks of gas, whether they be oxygen or nitrogen or helium for deep diving, they just squirt a little bit of extra air in, so the little tanks last way longer. So we would do attack swims in the middle of the night for anywhere up to 3 hours.
That's amazing.
Jesus.
What's the deepest you've ever gone underwater?
90 meters, so that's times it by 3, about 280 feet.
That's a long way.
Almost a football field.
Yeah,
That's
it takes a long time
way.
to get there, and even longer to get back.
Yeah. So I don't remember the formulas or any of that stuff. I think I went 130 feet was the deepest I ever did. And at that level, and you went twice that, it felt so weird. Like everything compressed. I remember I had to keep tightening my weight belt because everything shrinks from the pressure as you get deeper.
And you get knocked.
Yes. And
You
coming
get
up.
nitrogen narcosis. It's like being really, really drunk.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what it felt like really being drunk. So you got to come up. So like, I forget, like, is it 15 meters and you got to stop for like 15 minutes or something like that in order to not get the bends?
It really depends on how long you've been under and how deep you've gone and the gas you're breathing on. It can all change depending on, if you're breathing on oxygen or nitrogen or helium, the different depths you have to stop at, the different periods of time you have to stop at. And I remember the first time that I did it, we were still in training, and we were doing bounce dive. So just basically down and up on a helmet to about 60 meters, so about 180 feet. 3 6s, 18, 180 feet. And we always dive with buddies when possible, because it's a dangerous business and it's nice to have someone there to back you up. But my buddy couldn't clear his ears, and so I had to go down by myself. And this is just outside the heads of Sydney Harbour. And this is a great white shark highway. There's tiger sharks, there's bull sharks. And so I have to sit at my, what we call a wet stop, a decompression stop, at about 15 meters for 10 minutes. And I feel like the smallest, most indefensible worm on a hook. I've so exposed in the middle of the ocean, just dangling on a rope, waiting for a shark to come out of the murk.
Speaking of sharks, for those people who don't know, I mentioned it briefly, which is a huge understatement. I just passed by it so quickly. Shark attack survivor. People need to know that you lost an arm and you lost a leg.
Hand.
Oh, you lost a hand. Okay,
Yeah.
a hand.
Yeah, I lost my hand, and so the shark took my right hand and all of my right hamstring in one bite. And I ended up losing the rest of the leg later. So I'm now above knee amputee and a hand amputee.
What? How did this occur? Where were you? What happened?
We were in Sydney Harbour. This is 2009 in February, which is the end of summer from Australia. So it's usually the hottest period of the year. But it was early morning. It was still pretty chilly. And we were doing some testing of new equipment for the R&D department of the military. Okay. Just unmanned video and sonar that was attempting to track and detect us as we were swimming through the water. And it was right alongside the Navy base in Sydney Harbour, a place called Woolloomooloo. And this is a place where we dive and work all the time. We've been there for decades. No one's ever been attacked. There hasn't been an attack in Sydney Harbour in 60 years. So it's pretty safe as far as all things go. But I was terrified of sharks all the time. Like one of my worst.
By the way, that's a phobia I also share.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
been
A lot
close
of
to
people
a
do.
shark, whatever, but I just assume when I get in the ocean, I'm just always terrified.
Yeah. And you know, as a police diver as well, most of our diving is done in water where you can barely even see your hand in front of your face.
That's the only diving I've ever done. Just muddy lakes, rivers. I've never had the pleasure of being in the ocean. I assume it's awesome except for sharks. So go ahead about your story.
So, you get bumped by stuff and you just say, oh, that was just a log or something. You trick yourself. And so I've had my new guy in the water first for the first 30 minutes. He's swimming up and back, and this equipment's trying to detect him. And I decided to do him a good turn, and I said, just jump out, mate. Let me take over. Take a break. And I jump in the water in a black wetsuit, a pair of black fins, and I'm on the surface on my back just moving from point A to point B. And I look over my left shoulder to make sure that I'm still headed towards the bow of the warship that I'm supposed to be attacking. And before I can turn back, I get a huge whack in my leg. And it didn't really hurt, but it just kind of shocked me. And I turn around to look, and there's just a massive shark's head attached to me. And it feels like seconds to work out what's going on because I've never even seen a shark. Yeah. And all of a sudden, it's this, it's like Shark Week has come to life in front of me while I'm swimming, and I don't really know what to do. And I don't think the shark knows what to do either because it's kind of staring at me and we're trying to work out if I'm food. And then so my survival instincts kick in, and I think, all right, I've seen the crocodile hunter. I've seen Shark Week. I could jab it in the eyeball. So I try, but I can't move my arm. And I look down and I can see the teeth embedded into my wrist. And every time I try and pull it, I can see the flesh tearing a little bit more.
Wow.
So I think left hand. I go for the eyeball with my left and I reach over, but I can't reach it. I'm an inch short. So I grab it by the nose and try to push it off. But that pushes the teeth of the lower jaw deeper into the back of my leg. So I cock back to try and punch it in the nose. And by that stage, the shark's decided I'm food and starts to shake me. And that's when the pain kicks in. Like 100 teeth, razor-sharp teeth on either side of your limb, moving in unison to tear through your flesh. And all of the fight went out of me. And it took me underwater, and I was just yelling, and I was in agony. And we popped up, and I took a breath, and then it took me back under and just kept thrashing me around like a rag doll. And I realized how powerless I was. There was nothing I could do. And so I realized that I was going to die. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm not going home today. I'm going to die right now. And it was strange because it wasn't like time slowed down. I think our bodies and our minds are such incredible machines. And my mind went into hyperdrive, and I started running through my life and thinking, okay, am I ready to die? And I thought, well, shit, coming from where I started out as a really lost and bad kid, self-harming and drugs and all that stuff and fighting and stealing, to where I had achieved, peacekeeping with the UN and the elite of the Navy and all that sort of stuff. And I thought, you know what, I've come further than I've ever thought possible. If I'm going to die now, I have no regrets. I'm ready to go. And so I let go, and I was ready to drift away. And the shark at that point ripped through the rest of my leg and took my hand off. And because it wasn't attached to me anymore, my wetsuit made me buoyant, and I popped to the surface. And I realized that I wasn't dead. And I thought, shit, I got to get out of here before it comes back. Yeah. And I saw my safety boat with my 3 teammates in it. And I start to swim to the safety boat. But as soon as I take a stroke, I can see my hands gone. My arm ends at the end of my wetsuit. And my medical training kicks in, and I think I've got to keep that wound above my heart to stem the bleeding. So I've got one arm out of the water, swimming back to the boat with one hand and one leg, because I can't even feel my right leg. I don't know what's wrong with it at this point. I just can't feel it. And the guys in the safety boat said I was literally swimming through a pool of my own blood. And they said when they came in closer, it was actually so thick they could taste it in the air. And I didn't think I was going to make it. I thought, there's so much blood in the water. Shark's going to come back, another shark's going to smell it, and I'm going to die. I'm just waiting for a shark to grab me by the other leg. And it just never came. So I just kept swimming back to the boat. And eventually the guys got to me, pulled me out of the water. And just out of the sheer relief of not being eaten anymore, I relax and my eyes roll back in my head and I pass out. And my mate Thomas springs into action. And his training tells him I'm going into cardiac arrest and he needs to stimulate my heart. So he straddles me and he starts pummeling me in the chest, trying to wake me back up. And it works. And I wake up and I look over and my hand's gone, freshly bitten off by a shark. And then I look up and Tomo's beating the shit out of me. And I just think, today sucks.
So did they not hear or see the attack that you had to swim back to the boat? They couldn't come to you?
They were coming towards me at the same time. Okay. They were pretty far away, though.
Yeah. Okay. So I assume by the way you described initially seeing your hand and your leg in jeopardy at the same time, was this shark big enough that its bite trapped your right arm against your leg, so your hand and the back of your leg were in its mouth at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that's a
the
big
scientist
shark.
that measured the bite in my wetsuit and my leg said that it was between 2.7 and 3 meters. So, so about 9 or 10 foot.
Wow.
So it was much bigger than I was.
And just sheer power. I mean, you'd be
all
helpless.
muscle in its environment.
I mean, I've seen pictures of you. You are a physical specimen, and you felt completely powerless. I mean, that's one hell of a
Oh,
shark.
you can watch it. It's on YouTube.
I'm going to watch
What?
it. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
Oh my
it was
God.
it was part of the exercise. The unmanned video and sonar was recordings, so it was tracking and recording it, and it recorded the attack. You know, it's not great quality,
Yeah.
but you can see it.
So there was an underwater camera that captured this whole thing
It was on the surface.
on the surface. Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
So, you see the thrashing, you see a couple of black things, and then you see me swimming away.
What type of shark was it?
They said it was a bull shark by the type of bite. But, some people have said, they think it was a great white because it came up from underneath me. And also there was a great white attack the next day at Bondi where a surfer lost his hand.
Wow. So you're underwater for that long, and basically you're fighting for your life, and at some point you just kind of have to come to terms with it and peacefully accept that this is the end. Like that, it's a long time, I assume. It seemed like forever, however long it really took. But can you even describe, was it like almost like an out-of-body experience? Like when you finally accept death, you're like, I'm here. Was there any kind of weird shit associated with that outside of this?
Nothing really like that. No light or no out of body or anything like that. But
Just
it was
this monologue going on in your head?
Yeah. It was just, I have absolutely no fear of death anymore because I know that death isn't scary. Being eaten and being attacked by a shark, terrifying. It really hurt. But death itself and going on to whatever is next, it's actually quite peaceful. And the biggest thing that I think now is, well, the only reason that was because I had no regrets. And I had nothing, no thoughts of I should have done this or I should have made up with this person. So now it's like, okay, so all I've got to do for next time I die is make sure I feel that exact same way. So now I get to really, really live because there is no fear of death. There's no having to hold on to the mortal coil. I get to be anyone I want, do anything I want. I'm happy, and all I have to do is just have no regrets and, be loving to everyone and help where I can. And, it really changed the whole direction of my life and my mindset.
So what you're saying is the key to happiness is to just almost die and then live.
Yeah. So if everyone can just go out and almost die, you'll be happy in there.
As long as you have no regrets. You
Correct,
could have been down there like,
And if
shit,
you
I have
actually
so
do
many
die, then
regrets.
it's okay because you can't come and have a go at me about it. You'll be gone.
I'm gonna pump you full of lead.
Oh, watch out. That guy's in trouble. You might be in trouble if you don't protect your house from bad guys.
Oh, yeah.
Bad guys are everywhere. And listen, it's time for you to start thinking about protecting your home. In the same way, commercial grade, enterprise level security, like big Fortune 500 companies protect their assets and their property.
That seems.
And it's with Simply Safe.
Oh.
Listen, they need to know police are going to be on the scene immediately, these big companies.
Yes.
Why are they more important than us?
They're not.
We also need to know that the police are going to be coming immediately.
Yeah, these are lives.
This is exactly the kind of security you get with Simply Safe. If there's a break-in, Simply Safe uses real video evidence to give police an eyewitness account of the crime, and that means police dispatch up to 350% faster than for a normal burglary. What? With Simply Safe, you get comprehensive protection for your home. Outdoor cameras and doorbells alert you to anyone approaching your home. Entry, motion, and glass break sensors guard the inside. Plus, Simply Safe protects your home from fires, water damage, and carbon monoxide poisoning. You could have used this the other day.
Could have.
You almost died from gas inhalation.
Yeah, it was tough.
It's all monitored 24/7 by live security professionals. I mean, live security professionals are watching your home, protecting you and your loved ones.
That feels
yeah.
good. I feel
You can
safe.
set up your system yourself with no tools needed, or Simply Safe's experts can do it for you. And it's only 50 cents a day with no contracts. Way worth the money. That's peace of mind. Go to simplysafe.com/Heartland today to get free shipping on your order plus a 60-day money-back guarantee. That's SimplySafe, SimplySafe.com/Heartland to save on home security today. SimplySafe.com/Heartland. This is going to sound like a stupid question, but we actually had this conversation on our last episode. All right, as someone like who's now missing their hand, and ultimately you lost one of your legs from the injury, which is harder to go without?
Oh, dude, lose the leg.
The leg is
Never
way
lose
worse.
never lose a hand.
So
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
so
that's what I
you're
figured.
saying it's worse to have lost the hand than the leg.
Absolutely, 100,000.
That was our guess.
You can replace a leg.
Yeah.
Like a leg it's great, but you can replace it. There's not that many moving parts. You need a knee and an ankle. And while they're not, it's not replicatable to perfection like a human leg, they're pretty damn good now. But a hand, they have not worked out how to do that because you have multiple moving joints that move instinctually. You can feel where they are. They're so complicated. And the robot hands don't even come close. My robot hand is amazing. It's the best in the world. It's about $90,000, but it's a $90,000 beer can holder.
Man, thanks so much for answering that because I was sweating a little bit to ask you that. I thought, well, is this disrespectful? But really, I mean,
No, not at all.
in this day and age, you see, amputees without a leg, they come back from combat or whatever, and the technology is so good, you almost don't even notice a gait in their walk, and they can run and compete and all these things. But yeah, it makes so much sense. There's so much more going on with the hand. It's going to take a lot longer for that technology to get to the same level.
Paul, do you still dive a lot? And if you do, what was it like that first time going back in the water?
So I do dive. The first time was amazing. It was 3 months to the day after the shark attack, and I just had the stitches and staples out of my leg, and all I wanted to do was get back in the water. And two of my mates came over, and they took me down to Bondi with a couple of surfboards, and I was really paranoid about it because Bondi is a really populated beach, and so I felt embarrassed and self-conscious, and I've got my 8-foot board under my arm, and the paparazzi were there taking photos. And so it was pretty hard to deal with, but I'm hopping down through the soft sand, and I get to the water, and I maneuver my way to about waist deep, and I put my board down, and the only thing I was worried about was I just whispered to myself, please don't let me paddle around in a circle. So I didn't. I nearly drowned trying to hold on to the board. I got smashed by every single wave. But eventually I got out the back, and I was in the sun sitting on my board with my mates, and it felt so freaking good. And, I try and remind myself of that a lot when the running blade actually hurts a lot when I run. I don't enjoy running that much anymore. But I remember how good I felt after I made that huge effort to get down to the beach, to get out into the waves. It's not always about the struggle of doing something. It's about the happiness at the end and knowing and just living. And that motivates me to get up off my ass a lot of the time when the alarm's going off at 5 and I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym. It's cold out. But I know that feeling will come as soon as I'm out there doing it and living. And so I always give myself a bit of a mental uppercut and go out and live. And I've never, ever regretted that. But I've definitely regretted not doing things.
Oh, I bet. Now, the recovery, how long did it take before you got back to feeling like doing these things? I assume that was a long process.
I went back to work full-time after 6 months.
Wow. Are you serious?
Jesus.
Yeah. So one of my greatest fear, the greatest fear, it wasn't about losing the leg and the hand. It was about losing my career. Because it was everything to me. I loved it, and I fought so hard to achieve that, and I was terrified of losing it. And so instead of letting that fear cripple me, I used it as a motivator. and I let it push me into, I was, 2 days after my leg is chopped off, I'm trying to do one-handed pull-ups on the bar above my bed so that I can start training. And then I went home and I had one of my best friends who really was a savior. He quit his job up north, moved in with me and acted as a carer and cooked for me and cleaned for me and drove me around. I really couldn't have done it without him. You can't undervalue just the smallest amount of support in these situations. And so I was in the gym at the Army base every single day, training, learning to use my body again, working with the prosthetic companies to try and develop weightlifting prosthetics. And so, over a year and a half, I had to have 3 more surgeries to remove bone spurs. And that was always very hard, progressing and then going in for a surgery and going back to square one again. So that was pretty emotionally draining and having to get back on the drugs again. And I was self-administering Oxycontin, Endone, which is the fast-acting oxy, gabapentin, which is a nerve blocker, antidepressants for the nerve pain, sleeping tablets. And so I could smash as much of that in my head as I wanted. But I knew what it was like to live in a cloud from when I was a teenager and I was smoking heaps of weed and was working in hospitality, doing other party drugs. And I swore to myself I wouldn't go back to that person. And so I got off the drugs as fast as I could, got back to work, and just started trying to prove myself that I deserved to be there.
I assume you credit a lot of that mental toughness and fortitude from your military career. I mean, you were a Special Forces guy there in Australia.
Not technically not Special Forces. It's a Department of the Navy.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, what year did you leave military service?
So I joined the airborne unit November 2000, transferred over to the Navy April 2005, and left full-time service August 2012.
Okay, and when did you first come to the States?
The first time was actually on a request by the U.S. Navy. They were having a diving conference, and they asked me to come out and speak at it in San Diego. And so that was like 2012 or 13, I think. And that was my first trip. And San Diego was beautiful.
Yeah, it's hard to beat.
Absolutely fell in love with that town.
So, what did you think about the States? How did you think about the diving practices compared to what you guys did? Is it all the same, or?
It's all very similar. It's all very similar. But the difference is that you guys have specialists. So there's a department specifically working for each sort of thing that we do. So you have a salvage and repair unit that works with the tools and uses the helmets. Then you have an underwater bomb disposal unit. Then you have the tactical operations team. Then you have the land-based EOD. Whereas we don't have as many people as you. And so the clearance divers, we have to do all of that. So it keeps it interesting, but it's hard to remember a lot of stuff. Yeah. So it was really cool to just come out and meet with everyone. And I made lifelong friends from that trip. One of those guys is my best friend to this day.
Oh, nice.
And the water spins the opposite way. Correct.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the first time, and I kind of fell in love with it. And America has this really romantic sort of feel for Australians because we all grow up watching it on TV and in the movies, and so when I got the opportunity to come out here, I always jumped on it, and I love living out here.
See, that's how we feel about Australia.
That is how we feel.
It's very romanticized here.
Absolutely. So tell me about what you have going on now. Some advocacy work, and tell me about what's going on with Indigo Industries scuba equipment, because you are one of the best divers to ever do it, and I assume that's why you work for them. What kind of cool shit are you doing with them?
So I got a contract with Discovery Channel to host Shark Week a couple of years ago. So I've been hosting shows on Shark Week.
How good did that feel? How good did that feel to be able to host Shark Week, the coolest show we have of all time?
Dude, it is mind-blowing.
Yes.
I can't even believe I get to do this. I get paid to go and do things that I would pay to do, and then I get a little home movie out of it, and everyone gets to watch it around the world.
Yes, absolutely.
It's amazing. They pay for me to do incredible things that people don't get to do. I swim with great white sharks without a cage. Who does that?
Not me.
Not sane people.
Although it is kind of like every year makes me wonder how Discovery Channel is going to try and kill me this year. So I've got 2 more shows to shoot before June. And last year, I did a survival show with a British Special Forces guy where we parachuted from 15,000 feet directly into the Pacific Ocean for 44 hours with no food, no water, surrounded by sharks.
Was it Bear
Bear
Grylls?
Grylls?
No, not the Bear Grylls one. No, this was a guy called James Glancy, who was a Royal Marine.
Nice.
44 hours in the ocean?
Yeah. It's a long time.
So how do you survive?
You can't understand how hard it is when you're bouncing around the ocean, you're tired, you're hungry, you're thirsty, and trying to cut a hole in the butt of your wetsuit while you're moving around so you can poop.
Nah, just do it in the suit.
You can't poop in the suit.
Yeah, you'll get a rash.
Yeah, and so that was the second one. The year before, they blew up our boat off the coast of the Bahamas, and we drifted through the ocean again, through the Atlantic, surrounded by oceanic white-tip sharks, which are the sharks blamed for the biggest shark attack in history, at the sinking of the USS Indianapolis,
Yes.
where there was reportedly 300 American sailors were eaten by these sharks. So it was kind of, it wasn't just a survival thing. It was a message about shark conservation and what to do if you're stranded and you lose your boat, but also telling the story of these sailors. So it was a really great thing to be a part of.
Was there any part of
Indigo-
you? I'm sorry. Was there any part of you when you're getting these requests that were like, "Hey guys, I already did the shark thing. Like I lived. I don't want to be around any more sharks."
I'm kind of, at this point, it's kind of like if I'm genuinely fearful for my life while I'm reading the treatment of the show, I'm pretty much sure I'm going to do it.
Nice.
Yeah. So there was another one we did last year where we were on the back of the boat and we wanted to test this blood myth where, sharks can smell a drop of blood in 10,000 leagues of ocean. And so we went to the Bahamas and there was 25 feet of water with tiger sharks, bull sharks, hammerhead sharks, nurse sharks everywhere. And we drained half a liter of my blood out into a bag and I jumped off the back of the boat and swam away and then ripped open the bag. And I was surrounded by this huge plume of my blood just to see what would happen.
Jesus.
In hindsight, that doesn't seem very clever. At the time, it was kind of fun.
And what was what was the findings?
Yeah.
They did nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, so they can't smell.
So they're not attracted to our blood at all. I've seen sharks eat poop, but I haven't seen them they just don't. The guys threw a bucket of fish blood off the back of the boat after that, and I had to swim through that, and that absolutely changed their demeanor. They went total predatory, and I had to start palming them off.
Oh, that's bad news for
Chum
me.
still works.
Yeah. It's bad news for me
Yeah.
because if I see a shark, I'm immediately pooping. Okay? So they're going to be all over me.
But Indigo saw all of this. They saw this guy with one leg and one arm doing things that normal people can't do or won't do, and I think it sparked their interest. It made them want to create some adaptive diving gear. And these guys have been making equipment for the Special Forces all around the world for a long time. They're really good at it. They make such incredible new ingenuity equipment that, it's just really great to use. I love it. They just designed me a set of my own fins. We started this line called the Bionic AF. You know what that means. So the Paul Gelder Bionic AF line with short, travel easy carbon fiber fins that are super, super light. And I like them short because I can't maneuver as well anymore with my diving leg, my robotic diving leg, because it doesn't really bend at the knee whenever I want it to, like you would if you're spinning with your normal leg. And so having these really long freediving fins and bulky scuba fins, it makes it harder. So they made these really short, wide, powerful carbon fiber fins that they're just amazing. And then travel bags, you can put all your stuff in. A really awesome BC that's perfect for traveling, really light, really easy to use for me with one hand. So it's just cutting it back to the simplicity of making diving not so complicated so we can just enjoy it.
That's incredible, man. I tell you what, we get a list of guests sent once or twice a week, and we get to go through them and decide who we want on and who we don't. And I'm so glad we said yes to you. I mean, you are just a badass, man. You are a badass with a different kind of mindset, and I'm thankful that you made it through everything you did. And not only that, like you're a champion now for others who are amputees, and you're doing some good shit out there, man. So I wanted everybody to know that they need to get a hold of your book, No Time for Fear, How a Shark Attack Survivor Beat the Odds. I'm assuming it's available everywhere books can be found, Amazon and everywhere else. And your website is at pauldegelder.com?
Yeah, that's it. And that basically has a link to my speaking that I do. So now I'm out here. I'm traveling around America. I'm off to Kansas City, Missouri for my first trip next Wednesday to go and speak at a big conference. I've done Amazon, Snapchat, Viacom, Microsoft, like all the big companies, and I just love it. I really, really enjoy getting out, speaking to these companies and these businesses and people and just sharing all of the things that I've learned about life and all of these cool stories and just lighting a fire up at everyone's asses so that they start to live again, because people go through shit. You know what it's like. You don't know what the person next to you is going through. We all have these amazing stories and struggles, and sometimes we just need that fire lit up under us again. And so that's what I love to do, aside from Shark Week.
I want to run through a wall right now. Absolutely. I need to go hear you or watch you speak at some point. You're not a guy that needs advice, but can I give you some anyway?
Need what? Cut out.
I said you're not necessarily a guy that needs advice, but can I give you some anyway?
Oh, absolutely. I'm always open to advice.
You're going to Kansas City, Missouri, so you're going to get a lot of recommendations for barbecue. You need to go to...
I don't eat meat. I'm sorry. I'm one of those guys. And there's a reason for it. It's because I went to Africa to shoot a documentary, and I was working with a really brilliant guy called Damien Mander. And he's an Australian Navy clearance diver also, who founded the International Anti-Poaching Foundation. And he started the first all-female run, from the anti-poaching rangers to the managers to the staff to the HR, all-female run from broken backgrounds, abandoned by their tribes and their villages, domestic abuse women, and he's banding them together to fight poaching in Africa. And I was there filming with him, and he didn't eat meat. And that just blew my mind. I'm like, why the hell would you? He's like, well, I'm vegan. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? He's like, well, I don't eat meat. And I said, why? You know, I love meat. I ate all the kangaroos in the world. I love it. And he said, well, look, I was out here trying to protect the animals, and then I'd go home and I'd eat the animals. And I felt like a hypocrite. And that kind of rung a bell with me, and I thought, well, shit, I'm doing that with the oceans, and I'm eating animals, and I hate hypocrites. You know, in the military, we're trained to lead by example, to do as I do, not as I say. And so I always strive to be that sort of person. So I can't justifiably go out into the world and say, hey, you need to protect sharks and look after our oceans and look after our environment if I'm going home and I'm contributing to the destruction. And so very, very slowly, and I'm talking very slowly, I started canceling out different things and expanding my repertoire of vegetables and grains and all that sort of stuff. And I've been plant-based for nearly 4 years now, and I love it. I'll never go back.
Well,
I feel healthy, strong. I didn't lose any muscles. You know, I didn't grow boobs from eating tofu, and I haven't had a single injury training in 4 years. So I'm happy. I'm strong. But unless I've got vegan barbecue, I'm screwed.
What they might, I don't know. Go check out Kansas City Joe's anyway. they do have beer if you like beer.
What's kangaroo taste like?
Very gamey. It's a lot like, I guess, venison, deer.
Oh, okay.
It's very, very rich flavor.
That makes sense.
I really like it. I used to like it. Anyway, chili con kangaroo, kangaroo tacos, spaghetti bollaroo.
Oh, I like it.
Created with it. But yeah, not anymore because all the bloody kangaroos are dead. So we got to protect them.
Well, and it makes sense. It's commendable what you're doing, and it makes sense that you're vegan. Except for I would have thought you would at least allow yourself shark. Like if I were you, I would just eat every shark I could get a hold of.
I never really blamed the shark. It wasn't. It's just the shark out there doing sharky stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks again for coming on. I mean, you're a badass military veteran. Thank you for your service, even though I've never lived in Australia, but you did some stuff for the UN. You came over here and you helped our divers and our specialists. So thank you for your service. And everybody, go buy the book, No Time for Fear, How a Shark Attack Survivor Beat the Odds. And if you're into scuba, definitely check out Indigo Industries with their cutting-edge diving technology and equipment. I'm happy you're with them, man. You probably changed a lot of things for divers, and they've come leaps and bounds because of your awesome brain. And I can't thank you enough for joining us.
Thanks a bunch for having me, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul de Gelder.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. All aboard!
All aboard the Postmate train.
Let's go.
This train will stop anywhere you want it to. Anytime you want it to. That's the Postmate guarantee. When you need red wine at 4 p.m.,
Amen.
sushi at 9 p.m., breakfast burrito at 8 a.m.,
Yeah.
ibuprofen every hour of my life,
All the time.
Postmate it. Postmates is your personal food delivery, grocery delivery, whatever kind of delivery service all year round. Anything you're craving, Postmates can deliver. They're the largest on-demand network in the U.S., and they offer delivery from all the restaurants, grocery, and convenience stores and traditional retailers you could possibly want or need.
Wow.
24 hours a day, 365 days a year, plus the quarter of a day on a leap year.
Of course.
Postmates will bring you what you need within the hour. No more trips to the store. You don't even have to know where the store is. Postmates will deliver anything to you. Download the app for iOS or Android for free. Browse local restaurants and businesses and track your delivery in real time.
You want to know the best part?
What's that?
No judgies.
No judges.
If I order
No
ice cream
dramas.
and it's like 20 degrees out, they don't care.
They don't care. For a limited time. Postmates is giving our listeners $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days.
$100? $100?
Yeah, I mean, if you order Postmates like we do, I mean,
You're gonna need
Get
it.
you. That's 2 meals.
yeah, I mean, you're gonna need that. To start your free deliveries, download the app and use code Heartland. That's code Heartland for $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days when you download the Postmates app. Anything you need, anytime you need it, Postmate it. Download Postmates and save with code Heartland.
That guy's a badass, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. Look him up. Look at pictures of the dude.
Incredible.
Yeah.
He is
Weapon.
a machine. He can still do 20 pull-ups with. I didn't even talk about that, but he can do 20 pull-ups with that with his
With the nub?
prosthetic hand.
Those prosthetics are no joke, too. If you look at those pictures, they are advanced. It's not your typical
No.
run-of-the-mill.
He's got some
90
$high
grand.
equipment.
You better not be running the middle.
During Shark Week,
awesome.
he does the cool Shark Week things, like learning how to survive in the ocean for 2 days is much more important than to try to get air jaws to jump out of the fucking water.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point.
But I probably would never get in the ocean again.
Never. I
That's,
can't believe
that's why he's a
I'd be
better
very
man than me.
content.
3
never
months
seeing it
is
again.
insane. Maybe a year. 3 months after it happens on the day he's back in the ocean. Give me a break.
Back to work.
I mean, I tell you what,
Legend.
though, if you look like this guy, I'd be in the ocean all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And he pretty much looks like a superhero. I mean, he looks like you
you're
drew him in a comic book.
If you're from Australia too, you've just been shredding gnar for years. There's no way you're not going
grinding
back to
out
that.
Bondi every day.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have asked him if he ever fought a kangaroo.
Well, he eats them, so I mean, spaghetti bolaroo.
Spaghetti bolaroo. Unbelievable.
It makes sense that kangaroos taste like deer.
Yeah.
Are
didn't
they like
know people
are they
kind of
nuisances over there? Are they like deer? Guys
Yeah.
I
just
think they
blowing
might be,
kangaroos'
dude.
brains
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Hunting kangaroo to eat. I didn't know they eat them.
Yeah,
I didn't know
did
that
I.
either. I had always wondered that if they were more like the like exotic like things
Nope.
you just
Yeah,
don't,
like
you don't
yeah,
mess with. Yeah,
right.
you just see them out there.
Seems like you have a kangaroo hunting license.
Yeah,
and
it's
go
not. I
nuts.
mean, it's not a
nuts.
problem anymore. Obviously, unfortunately, but used to. It was like to control the population, they had to have hunting seasons.
Yeah.
and just like
Quail.
deer,
Just like deer.
So they're just walking in with like 3 skulls and saying, "We're having spaghetti bolaroo tonight." Just bumping their heads on the table.
Kangaroo tacos.
deer are absolutely useless and they look stupid. At least kangaroos look awesome and do hilarious things.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
No, I want a pet kangaroo. And I know I
they're
would probably
fuck out of
regret
mean
it.
sons of
It
bitches.
would shit over everything, tear my shit up, punch me in the head,
Yeah.
kick
Yeah,
me
Spit at
bully
you.
the
At least
shit
you'd always
out of
know
you.
like where your keys and shit are though,
because of why.
because you put it in the
It's in a
pouch.
pouch, dude. Come on.
You get home, and be like, "Hey, Rue, come here."
Yeah.
Yeah, until he hides them from you.
Yeah, when I-
I'm
when I-
not giving them to you.
Why? Why are
When I
you
go to-
South African with a kangaroo?
Hey, Rue.
When I go to
calling
Trader
him
Joe's
Brew?
and Aldi's, I wouldn't have to bring my own shopping bag anymore. I'd be like, yeah, just put it in the pouch.
This is my
Walk
Rue
kangaroo
brew.
out.
Got it on a leash.
Why are Australians so cool?
Was he saying no drama?
Yeah, no
no
dramas.
As a no problem.
Plural.
Yeah,
As
no
in no
worries.
worries.
No
I
dramas.
No dramas.
fucking love that.
No dramas.
I thought you were saying no drums.
might-
Some new
might be my
Australian
new-
Fucking wigs
slang.
only.
New email signature. I put the bottom. No dramas.
No dramas. It's the coolest thing ever.
You know any Beatles?
I'm gonna say it all the time. I wonder if he knows Russell Crowe. He's definitely met. God, I've never.
Urban?
Why do I ask these during the? He's definitely as cool as he is. He's definitely met Russell Crowe,
Oh, yeah.
and he's definitely met
Margot Robbie?
the Wolverine,
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
I just
What do you think?
I just checked his Instagram. He went on a dive with Ronda Rousey and Travis Brown.
Oh,
for Shark
seriously?
Week. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'm just trying to think of all the famous Australian people I can and see if he's met them.
Who's the singer that's married
Keith
to
Urban.
Olivia Newton-John.
Olivia Newton-John? He knows her for sure.
Keith Urban stinks.
Yeah, he does.
I hate
He's
Keith
an
Urban.
alien.
But you know he's met him.
Yeah.
You know he's met him.
Nicole Kidman.
It's a
I
small
mean, because we were
country.
talking about how cool things that he does, not the cool people that he knows.
Naomi
That'll be the
Watts.
second interview.
Yeah, well, if we ever do follow up, we're going to talk about all the cool people from Australia. He knows Mel Gibson. God damn it, he knows Mel Gibson.
No, I don't think he's.
Mel's
no.
Mel like abandoned Australia. I feel like his accent's totally gone.
After Mad Max, I know because if you watch the old Mad Max,
Yeah, there's
he
a
has
hint
a
of it.
hardcore kind of sound like Paul. I guess
you-
it's a little bit. American
You listen to him
accent.
talk now. There's
Yeah.
nothing. It's like, why
Nothing.
would you ever lose that? Why wouldn't you
Nothing.
keep that?
I know because he can get by with his racial slurs a lot more
I was gonna,
in an Australian accent.
I was gonna say he
It's a lot more
started
forgiving.
hating a certain
Yeah.
group of people, and they just
yeah.
couldn't get the voice back.
Paul de Gelder, what a legend. He's you know what he's a global treasure.
Global treasure.
Amen.
Not a national treasure. He's not one of ours. I'm happy that he's here now, but he's a global treasure.
Protect
Protect
him
him
at
at
all
all
costs.
costs.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're out.